your favorite Ildefonso. Welcome to GretchX and join us every other week for your dose of good vibes for all things sports related. Dami pong nangyari and exciting because headlining the sports world in the Philippines are our Filipinas. From tennis to volleyball to basketball, women power talaga. And today, we will get to know more about them and the way they promote the country while encouraging women empowerment. O, diba? Fresh from their stint in Jordan, we will have a member of the Gilas women's team. Abangan niyo po kung sino yan. Starting off this show with some great news, hindi magpapahuli ang ating women's national football team and they have made it to the finals of the AFC Women's Asia Cup 2 times in a row. Ang saya naman ng see you in India daw. Sana makapunta rin ako, di ba? Susunod na season ng Puso Pilipinas, overseas na tayo. Abangan natin yan. Syempre, libre naman mangarap. Speaking of female athletes, here is one Filipina-Canadian who succeeded in the recent US Open tennis finals. And I'm speaking about Leylah Fernandez. 19 years old pa lamang siya. Nakaabot na siya sa championships. And just like every young athlete, rather, she had to sacrifice certain events that teenagers usually experience. Like prom. Yung prom ko, naalala ko ba? I was so awkward when I was in high school. Leylah may have missed the prom, but she definitely made up for it through the Met Gala. Kalain niyo yun. Grabe yun. From prom to Met Gala, di ba? And she looked absolutely gorgeous. I know some people are asking why we're so excited about Leylah. She's a Canadian citizen and she has roots in Ecuador, has roots in the Philippines. Kung may nakikita tayo na nagsasucceed and may lahing Pinoy, it also shows us and reminds us of what we can do as Filipinos. Ang athletes natin, hindi lang sila players ngayon, kundi entertainers na rin. Etong si Tots Carlos, mukhang sineryoso na nga from TikTok to vlogging. So, nakausap natin si L.A. Tenorio na naging host and vlogger na rin. Siyempre, di magpapahuli, si Tots Carlos. Parang nung isang episode, bisikleta lang, bakit naging ATV? Bongga, masasabi ko lang, itong si Tots, gwapo mo. Ang pogi, oh. Hindi lang nga pogi, makulit pa. Kaya sigurado ko papatok talaga yung channel niya. Okay, ituloy na natin ang women empowerment. Hindi lang tayo sa weightlifting magaling. Sa powerlifting din. Ano bang difference ng dalawa? Yung powerlifting, 1 movement. Yung weightlifting, 2 movements. They bagged 11 medals in Sweden sa 2021 International Powerlifting Federation. Grabe ang ating mga female athletes. And just take a look at how heavy they can lift. And of course, they seem to have mastered the art of TikTok, ang ating women's national volleyball team at women's basketball team. Kala niyo ba puro ensayo lang sila? Basketball, pasok! Parang mas malambot yung mga volleyball, ano? Maybe sa training yun, kakarol. So proud of these teams though. And we know they've been working so hard, especially ating women's national volleyball team. They're fighting hard for Team Philippines in the Asian Club Championships. And yung Gilas women's team, nanalo sila sa kanilang last game sa Jordan. Ang galing-galing talaga nila. Puso, yung sweet shooting ni Kate Castillo, yung hustle ni Janine Pontejos, si Afril Bernardino, yung all-around game niya na sobrang lakas ng swag niya. Ayan, eto na nga, kanilang pahinga. What are the stories behind those videos? We'll find out right now. From the Gilas women's team, we have with us Camille Clarin. Fresh from their FIBA Asia Cup stint in Amman, Jordan, we have with us right in hotel quarantine, Camille Clarin of the Gilas women's team. Hi, Camille.
Hello, Gretch. Thanks for having me.
I'm sure it's been a whirlwind for you guys. I mean, the FIBA Asia Cup stint was less than a week. I think you only had about 2 to 3 weeks of training. Has it sunk in with you that you just went through all of that?
I think it has sunk in now that I'm in quarantine and have the time to actually rest and process everything. But I think it'll take a while for me to kind of get off this high.
I know this is your first stint with the seniors team. How was the experience for you?
Honestly, it was as good as it could have ever been, just because of the players and the team. They really got me through it. Honestly, it was very difficult sometimes. There were times where we were definitely on the edge, but you know, good thing we came up with that win, and that's all that matters.
And for people to understand better, the women's scenario is very different from the men's. I mean, in the men's game, they go into the bubble, they stay there for about a month or even more than that. They get more preparation time. But for the women's, it seems that, you know, you were all pulled in together at the very last minute, just 2 to 3 weeks. What for you was the biggest challenge playing in the pandemic, being inside a bubble, and not having a game for about 2 years?
In comparison to the men's program, they're allowed to have a roster of players, a bunch of people to pick from. We had 12 players and that was it. That was all our budget could take. So that was difficult, because imagine not playing for 2 years and then having to play every single minute, no subs, nothing. But we didn't have any of that. So we were really thrown into the fire, but in the end it was good for us. You know, we were able to keep up with these teams. Just keeping yourself motivated every single day, not easy at all. Especially, you know, here in the Philippines, not everyone has access to all those things, not access to gym, court. So I definitely feel for all of our athletes.
But what made you decide to still keep on pushing and pursuing basketball, specifically here in the Philippines?
I think it's just all the time that I've put into it, you know, aside from myself. There's so many people who have helped me get to where I am. So for me to just decide, like, I don't want to do it anymore because I have no access, I can't play, like, I feel like that's not only me giving up on myself, that's me giving up on them. So they were definitely keeping me going, just my family, the people around me. And deep down I knew, like, I wouldn't be here, I wouldn't have the opportunities I have if it wasn't for basketball. Plus, I'm only 20, like, I feel like when I talk like this, I feel like, I'm 30, like, you know, life's down the line, midlife crisis type thing. But yeah, I'm only 20, guys, so like, I have a lot of time.
Yeah, you're right. You have the time. Just have to be patient. And it's good. You're mature enough to know that. That's cool. Going up against powerhouses like China, Australia, Chinese Taipei, not just powerhouses, but giants. Literal giants.
Literally giants.
Yeah. How did you cope up with the obvious advantage that the opponent has?
So we tried our best to mentally prepare ourselves for the people we're going against. But once it's very different compared to when you're actually matching up against them and your hands are up and your hands are like up to their chest. And then when they put their hands up, it's by the rim. It's very different, and I won't lie, it does kill your confidence a little, but it's a great experience. Like, no one can say that they've guarded like a 6'8" girl. Like, I have a picture of me and Ephraim, both their hands up, and when she puts her hands up, it's like double our height. But honestly, it's just it's experience, it's lessons. I think the biggest takeaway is that we got to start a program now. Like, we have to get grassroots established here in the Philippines, give us a chance to recruit players from outside. But with that, you need budget, you need time, you need support. So obviously it starts with that.
But now that we have the professional women's league here in the Philippines, what do you think or how do you think can women's basketball grow here? What are the opportunities, especially with Jack Animam playing in Serbia? You, Ella, coming back home to play for the Philippines, and just the overall exposure of the women's program.
Definitely time and support. Obviously, the thing that's not said there is money, but obviously we know we need that. It just goes to show, like, the support is obviously not equal for women's and men's basketball, but that's okay. There's a lot of stuff for us female athletes that we have to overcome in order to kind of put ourselves in the spotlight, but that's okay. Just the amount of support we've been getting from social media, from all the people who are just willing to give us a chance. Like, that's all we need, because that's how it starts. So obviously the WNBL, that's a great league for, you know, college players to think about when they move on from college, because they didn't have that option before. That's why you can see that people even lifted the age, because it goes to show people don't want to give up basketball. They just have no other choice. So by giving all these girls opportunities to continue, other girls opportunities to start, you know, just creating that support system for everyone to feel included, have a community of players to be supported with, like, it's a game changer. So compared to my first year here in 2019, I think we've definitely made some progress. It's really just people willing to take a chance on us, willing to share our stories, because that's how you capture the attention of everybody. You share stories, you relate, and you know, sometimes you'll just get that one person who could help, and that's all you need.
I love it. With Heidelin winning weightlifting, with Marjolin in skateboarding, and you guys in basketball. I mean, women in sports and women in non-traditional female sports.
It's beautiful, yeah. That like you said, non-traditional sports for women, and it's like literally, it's so great to see. Like it makes you so happy. It's just so happy to finally see females like elevated. But it just goes to show like we're succeeding in sports. We have the bare minimum to keep us going. Yet we're still prevailing over everything that's holding us back. So just imagine how much more we could do as female athletes in all these non-traditional sports if we get that support. Imagine if it's the whole country backing us. Dreams.
We'll knock on doors. What are you looking forward to now that the Gilas campaign is over? What's next for you?
Yeah, I'm definitely staying here until UAP. I mean, anything with the national team, I'm definitely looking forward to going back to 3x3. Like, that's definitely the most fun type of game. So hopefully there's a tournament down the line sooner rather than later.
So we go to the fun part of this conversation, and it's called Fast Talk. Answer as fast as you can. It's as simple as that.
Okay.
I'll give you choices.
Okay.
All right, game?
Game.
Morning training or evening training?
Morning training. Just in the morning, you get everything started and you're ready to go for the day.
Philippines or Canada?
Canada, if Sean's in Canada. That's what I'll say. Because food, everything's open. There's winter. I hate the heat.
Will you be voting in the upcoming elections?
Yes.
You registered?
No, but I will. Okay, so shout out to all my Phil-Lams and Phil-Canadians. Us dual citizens can vote, so register, guys.
By the end of the month, huh? And last, and probably the hardest, your favorite Ildefonso.
Coach Danny, that's my favorite.
Me too! Me too! Raise the roof! Raise the roof! Do you know that I was able to watch him when I was young in the PBA?
Really?
When he entered the PBA from PBL, I was there watching by the sidelines.
And I wish I got to see him play, man, but seeing him now, like, I'm sure he was ridiculous, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, Dave pala. Dave said he has
Major
a crush
crush.
on me daw.
Always.
Okay, si Dave na lang, favorite ko. Alright, maraming salamat. Thank you so much, Camille. A lot of hope for the women's program, and congratulations on ending strong. I know it was tough. We see some bright spots already in the Gilas women's program. Just as you said, keep on pushing and keep it going.
Thank you so much for always giving us the opportunity to talk.
For sure, we'll keep on telling the stories of women, not just in basketball, but in sports. Woo!
Yes.
That's all for GretchX. Dito kami sa Puso Pilipinas, patuloy namin ikakwento ang kwento ng Pilipinang atleta. Maraming salamat. Catch us next time for your dose of good old sports GVs.